Welcome to my channel. This tutorial is for a Peewee garter mum using a 3-inch mum flower. My ribbons are cut at 4 inches long for the loops for the backer, and my backers are just under 3 inches in diameter. I'm making twisted loops using 2 different colors of ribbon, and I'm doubling them up to give them a two-tone look. Make sure on your twisted loops that the ends of your ribbons line up as I'm showing. I'm attaching these twisted loops in a north, south, east, and west fashion, and then I will fill in those gaps with 2 twisted loops. I'm going to be attaching another row of twisted loops. If you just want one row, I would make sure that you attach them closer to the center, and be sure to put your flower in the center to test it out and make sure that it looks right. On this row of twisted loops, I want the purple to be on top, so I'm changing which ribbon I put on top before I twist them, but it really doesn't matter because all you have to do is turn the twisted loop over and the different colors will be on top and bottom. Now I'm going to make a classic spirit chain, and my base color is going to be purple. You want to double up the size or the length that you need, and you will very carefully go to the center of that ribbon as I'm showing, because you want these two ribbons to be side by side. So be very careful about when you get to the center and how you fold it. You're basically making an arrow out of the center, but you want to make sure that each side of the ribbon is side by side. That's how you're going to make a good spirit chain. You want to find something flat to hold down this chain. It'll make it so much easier when you're braiding it. I like this acrylic ruler because it's flat and you can see through it for these videos. I also use books all the time. They work really well too. It will just help flatten the chain and it will help keep it in place. Now take your time when you're making this chain. You want to make sure that your ribbons line up and you're pushing that yellow ribbon forward as you're braiding it, because you want, every time you weave the yellow ribbon, you want it to just touch the end of the one you just braided. Now for my ribbon streamers, I'm starting with the centermost ribbons. I cut these around 14 to 15 inches, but I ended up cutting off a little bit more than that because I didn't want them that long. But I suggest 12 to 15 inches. The further out I go with these ribbons, the wider I mean, the shorter I make them. Just gradually make them like a half an inch shorter to an inch, no more than an inch. But if you want to make one that's all one length, go ahead. This is just the design that I do. It's really up to you what you like. Now I'm going to be attaching some vinyl that I cut out on my Scan and Cut 2. I cut out the school name going vertical, so I want to attach it exactly how I cut it, so I'm using masking tape instead of like contact paper. But the trick with masking tape, it's very sticky, so you want to take it and put it on like your shirt or your pants a couple of times, rip it off so it's less sticky, and then put it over the vinyl and it'll come off the vinyl a lot easier. But you have to really rub it good on the ribbon to make sure that it sticks good. Now I'm putting this vinyl on gross grain ribbon. This is a lot more difficult. You really have to rub it on there good and slowly peel it off. And sometimes I have to use my fingernail to help get it off. It's really difficult, but I just, sometimes you have to do it. And I made a matching hair bow mum for this. And so I wanted to use some of those same ribbons on the mum garter that I used on the hair bow mum. You always have to be sure and seal gross grain ribbons, satin ribbons too, they will fray. So I usually just use a lighter. You can also use fingernail polish, like a clear or a glitter fingernail polish. Just lightly put it over the end and it'll help keep it from fraying. Of course, they make no fray too, but I don't like it. It changes the color of the ribbons sometimes, so I don't like using it. I like to double up on the color of vinyl for someone's name. It just makes it stand out, it makes it look shadowed. It's a little bit more work, but I just really like the outcome. This is another method for putting the vinyl on the ribbons. I'm just doing it by hand. Uh, yes, it's a little bit more difficult to get the letters straight, but they're real easy to peel off and put back on. This way I can control exactly where the letter goes. Here's a little hack for you for personalizing trinkets. I am using fingernail polish. The colors are purple and gold, so I'm using this gold metallic. It's an OPI fingernail polish, so yes, it's an expensive fingernail polish, but the purple I'm using is not an expensive one. I think it's like a $2 bottle, but it works really great and it leaves it shiny and you won't have to worry about it peeling off like you would craft paint. I usually use craft paint and then I use a top coat like a glaze, but my glaze is solid as a rock, so I had to throw it away and I had to think of something else I could use, so I tried the fingernail polish and it worked great. The only thing you want to do is after you paint it, is before it dries, is rub your finger quickly over the top layer so the outline of the trinket doesn't get painted in that color. See how I'm lightly running my finger over the shoe? That's just so that black outline of the trinket still shows through. When it comes to attaching like a trinket garland or diamond mesh or anything that's thick to your backer, I prefer to attach it to a small piece of ribbon, attach that ribbon to the backer, and make sure that the ribbon garland or deco mesh, or diamond mesh, whatever it is not on the backer. That way when you go to glue the backers together and staple them together, you don't have this huge gap. Another little hack for you, when you go to attach your backers together, use a pencil or a paintbrush like I show here, and that way your backers will be lined up perfectly if you put that through the hole of all the backers, and then give it one staple to keep it in that exact place, and then you can remove the paintbrush, and now you'll know it's all lined up, and now you can add your hot glue. If you've watched my other videos, you know how I secure my mum flowers. I always do it with a chenille stem, but for those of you that are new, this is how I do it. I always run a chenille stem through it, tie a knot, glue it, pinch the mum flower so it's you don't see that knot from the chenille stem, and then you put the bottom of the chenille stem through the backers, attach the chenille stem to the backer, and then glue the flower to the front backer, and it will be nice and secure. Instead of a traditional garter, I like to use this football elastic for little boys because it's way more comfortable. It's like a satin, so it's going to be soft on their skin. It's not going to irritate them like those hard backers or those hard garters will. And since I'm mailing this to another state and I don't know his size, I'm going to go ahead and attach two of them, two different sizes. That way he has options. One is too tight, then he has the other one. If it's too big, then he has the smaller one. Something else I like to do on my Peewee garters, I like to attach felt instead of a clean backer on the very end. I do felt instead. I'm going to glue it on there, so trace it out first. You want it just slightly bigger than your backer, and then I will put it on there, glue half of it, glue the other half. It's going to be so much more comfortable for him to feel that felt instead of that cardboard. Yeah, I cut out this custom cutout out of glitter cardstock on my Scan and Cut 2. The original paw print, the smaller one in purple, is about a half an inch tall and wide, and then the gold outline is going to be just slightly bigger than that. I think it was like 1/8 of an inch bigger. And I use the sticker maker, I think it's Xyron sticker maker, to attach the purple and gold together, and then I use hot glue to attach it to the flower. Here's a picture of it with the hair bow mum that I made to match. Thanks for watching. If you like my channel and my videos, please support it by subscribing and sharing, and don't forget to tap the bell so you get updates or notifications of my uploads. Thank you.